Hello and welcome to the Extra Cast. Myself, Nick Boddington, and a special guest today, which is Facebook expert Konstantinos. And I'm not going to say his surname because I simply can't pronounce it. So I'll let him do it himself. Welcome.
My name is Konstantinos Doulgeridis. Most of the people on YouTube, they know my last name from saying it in every video, and this is why I say it in every video so that they can learn it.
Exactly. How are you doing? You okay?
I'm doing well.
Good. So I've just to sort of give a bit of an intro to how I've come across you is to our audience is basically, I think everyone in the Facebook world, in the digital advertising world at the moment, but we are Facebook, so we'll talk Facebook, are pulling their hair out really with the fact that nothing makes sense at the moment. And it's not to say that we're not making money and we're not producing successful campaigns, but it's become a lot harder. So I found you on YouTube because of some videos that I was watching which were brilliant that you did. And what I love about the stuff that you produce is, even though it's technical, and I don't want to scare the listeners by saying, oh, they're going to go too technical now, but listeners, you need to go technical sometimes to make things work, is that we're all ads, we're Facebook ad experts, and there's me on podcasts, there's you and others on YouTube and stuff like that. And the thing I like about you is because most of them are doing is going, and I look at when the video was produced, it was produced like 1 week ago, and they're coming out with this magic formula of how they can make your ad campaigns work, get leads, blah, blah. But what I'm thinking as I'm sitting in my office is they must be coming up against the same problems that you and I are coming up across, which is Facebook tells you, let's say it's an e-commerce store. Facebook has said you've got 17 orders yesterday. Google Analytics, because of a UTM, says you've got 2. And it's like, I'm seeing this sort of stuff, and it's like, wow. So we want to go over all this sort of stuff today. One of the questions that I didn't ask you before this podcast was, where do you see things going? Because I think that's really interesting over the next year or two, where these platforms are going to go. So let's get on with it. So you're a Facebook ad expert, doing some great stuff. Love the technical stuff you go into. Let's get on it. Let's talk about. Should we start with yourself and tracking and how you're pulling your hair out, because you've lost as much hair as I have.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to point out something based on what you said. A lot of times as marketeers, our job is to sugarcoat the mistakes of a product, the faults that it has, make it better. This is the art of marketing.
Yeah.
But the problem is that when we have our clients, we should not do marketing with our clients saying lies. It's completely different. Our job is to do marketing in a B2C from the business to the customer. And this is our job. Our job is to make a product look better. This is my book. Okay. So as you can see, marketing is the art of getting something that looks a little bit cheap and make it more expensive. This is the art of marketing. Okay. So it's all about having the idea on how to do it. Now, if we are going into that trap and we get devoured by our need of doing marketing with our girlfriend, our parents, our friends, and our clients, and not being honest, this is going to cause the videos that you are talking about. They say, hey, I found the magical solution. This is what is going to happen, and everything is going to be okay. In my opinion, being honest is the most important thing if you want to improve and excel in what you do. Second thing, if you don't have your personal opinion about something, and when it comes to Facebook, I have my personal opinion because I'm running several accounts, I'm having very big spends, I'm having small spend accounts, I'm having a network of 20 or more people that they also do ads, and we discuss all day long about that. Yeah. If you don't have the opinion, don't pretend that you have an opinion because the moment you do that, people like me, they can understand it, and it looks very bad. Okay. Now, where things are going, whoever thinks that Facebook is going to die in 1 week and TikTok is going to become the next platform is naive. In the best possible case scenario. I have seen TikTok ads. Okay, they take most of their information from credit cards and third place apps that they're giving information about who is doing what. Facebook algorithm is completely different. It has an algorithm which understands all the interests based on the data that these people have produced within the platform. It's completely different. It's not third party. I'm asking you to think it like this. What is it better to do an interest within Facebook? Let's say that it's going to be extremely accurate and you know that people like phishing. Okay, one example that I use always. Is it better to use a phishing interest or upload a list that not from your store, or not from your store, that someone from Australia had a store and has a list of emails? What is the best? Of course, the first case, because the other one, it's completely different avatars and stuff. So in that case scenario, we need to understand that Facebook is not going to stop working. Most probably they are going to find a solution. And my honest opinion is that the metaverse is going to be the solution to that, okay? We are talking about a world that everybody is going to come. They're not going to be personal information, nothing. And the data over there is going to be open again for us to use, okay? So about tracking, a lot of things has changed and we need to discuss them. First of all, back in 2021, at the start of 2021, we had the initial changes. Change number one, the attribution model changed. We don't get information anymore for 28 days, but we're getting information for 7 days max. Okay. This is very important because a lot of companies that they were having high ticket items, they cannot sell anymore to Facebook. Okay. Thing number two, after the iOS changes on June, we can see that we started having less reporting, and we have seen that the more people were putting the iOS 14.5 update to their phones, we could see that we had this kind of problems. Now, some data is that Apple announced that 95% of the users said that they don't want to be advertised. So only 5% left. As you can understand, this has changed things. But in my opinion, and this is the way that I teach also Facebook ads to my friends and students and stuff. If you don't have a Konstantinos next to you, you need to understand the platform in order to understand how it is working. We were targeting a very big audience, and now the audience have become smaller. What does this mean? That we need to target bigger audiences. First observation. So if we were targeting back in the day 1 million or 2 million or 3 million people, we know that this is problematic because now we need to target bigger audiences in order to overcome the smaller audience that has been created because of the loss of the data of the iOS. Okay. Another thing that is happening over here is this. What we were doing when we were having new pixels and new ad accounts, we were targeting small, going to bigger. That means that all the new businesses that they come, they're going to have a huge issue kickstarting their businesses because they need to train their pixels at some point by spending money to actually be able to work with broader audiences. And this is going to be problematic because your pixel, when it starts, is like a small baby and doesn't understand your ideal avatar. And last thing that we also mentioned is the lookalikes. I can still see people using 1% lookalikes. Because Facebook wants bigger audiences, you cannot use 1% lookalikes anymore. I don't understand this. Yeah, there's a need of people using 1% lookalike. And at the end of the day, after 5 months, they say that lookalikes are not working. Why? You're not trying something else. For me, personally, I can tell you that and again, this might change again, okay? But I'm saying that from September to December, which I must say that they were very good months for Facebook, to be honest with you, across my accounts. I was using 5 and 10% lookalikes, and I can tell you that they were working. 1% is not working anymore. I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't even use it. If you want to use something small, go to 3% at least. Don't go to 5. And of course,
I've just literally done a lookalike against interests on a campaign, and the 3% lookalike is working against the interests. It's the one that won on a test.
Maybe it can work. The problem with 3% lookalike is that in most cases it's not going to be scalable. That's that's the problem. But 5%, 10% can be big enough in order for you to be able also to scale. The thing that I want to point out about lookalikes though is this: how did I come up with the idea of targeting 5 and 10% from the thing that I told you earlier? So I said to myself, why lookalikes are not working? They should work. So I said, what happened with interests? Interests are working because they need bigger. Maybe I should put bigger lookalikes. In other words, don't try to see blueprints from gurus here and there. Try to understand the platform, because the moment that the guru is going to be rich enough for not to be care about doing YouTube videos, or it's going to be a person that is outdated or whatever, you need to be able to sort on your own what is working and what doesn't by understanding the philosophy behind the Facebook algorithm and how Facebook is working.
Yes, brilliant. So when you're saying 5% and 10%, are you talking 1% opened up to 5% and then a 5% opened up to 10%?
Not 1 to 5, 0 to 5.
0 to 5, sorry, and then a 5 to 10. And so
no, 0 to 10.
Okay. And
0 to 5 and 0 to 10
against each other, yeah?
No, you don't have to test them against each other. You can do the method that you like, the crazy method, which is actually duplicating the same asset several times. Or you can do it, for example, you can do 10% purchase, 10% add to cart, 10% initiate checkout, 10%, and put all 10% there. Or there is another method which I like to call the blender method, which you can go for 5% add to cart and 5% view content within the same ad set, then put an interest below. And if you still have the option, the detailed expand option. Why? Because in that case, you're going to target the full potential reach of your two lookalikes, but starting with the interest that you have below. In some cases and in some accounts, this is helping a lot because it's something between lookalikes and interests. You know, it's something between.
So it's a blend. You'll include the custom audience of a lookalike and put, let's say,
two lookalikes, and then you have the interest below, and you have the full potential reach. But it's not going to take the full potential reach of the interest like this. It's going to take the full potential reach of these two lookalikes.
Got you.
So it's not going to be a huge audience. So you can use a very huge interest, which is very, so that you can give, hey, I want you to take these two lookalikes, but I want to tweak it a little bit and add an interest so that it can be a little bit more targeting within the lookalikes.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that sounds good. So you mentioned there your crazy method.
Yeah, my crown jewel.
Your crown jewel. So is this method something that you will be the first thing you look at with any new client or any?
No. It's an advanced method. So let me tell you what is happening with the crazy method. The crazy method used to be a method that I used before the iOS changes for scaling, for a lot of scaling. Okay, and I'm talking about accounts that they were spending 200K, 500K per month, accounts like that, very big accounts, where, as you can understand, there are not enough interests after some point, not enough lookalikes, not enough creatives. There is nothing that you can do after some point in order to differentiate and put something else. So what can you do? Put the same creatives and the same assets that you were using. So the fun fact is that after what happened with iOS and needing the bigger audiences and all the things that we said, I think that the whole Facebook is going to transition towards the crazy method. And it's actually funny because Facebook ads sadly are going to become even more difficult because then you're not going to need just targeting and stuff, which was something easy for people to understand, but you're going to need a lot of optimization. And the optimization that you need to do, sadly, again, we all know that in order to become good with Facebook ads, you cannot go to a university or something like that. But when we talk about optimization, YouTube videos are not enough. And I'm trying also to teach it on some of the YouTube videos and stuff. You can see examples, but let me tell you that from personal experience with students, because I love teaching people, when it comes to that, it can take up to 8 months to train someone to understand. And of course, a lot of people don't have the access that they have to big accounts to play with the budget, with the money of other people and stuff. So I think that after some point, it's going to be an elite of YouTube experts that they're going to be playing with big budgets. I'm even believing that at some point, Nick, there are going to be people that are going to create campaigns, and there are going to be people like me that they will come just for optimization. I think that it's going to be super, a super task to do, and there will be only a few of us. Okay. So with optimization, I think it's going to be too technical. I'm not going to analyze a lot, but it's basically the art of putting several ad sets. How many ad sets? What kind of budget are you going to put in a CBO with how many ad sets? You need to calculate numbers. And when it comes, what are you closing? And if you are lowering your budget so that you can find a new balance within your CBO campaign. Okay. So for those who don't know, CBO campaign is when you have a budget in a campaign, and it's spending this budget across the ad sets the way that Facebook wants. Okay. Now, when it comes to crazy method, if we want to analyze it in just some simple words, is this: if I have an audience, okay, and this is a lot of times, and again, this is the story how it was created. Okay, so I was having a very good audience once. I believe it was 3 years ago, and I started. By the way, I'm doing ads for the past 10 years, and I have developed these methods in the past 3 years. So I became good after in the last 3 years. And do you know why? Because this is the point that I started freelancing. I wasn't doing just ads for my account and my businesses, so I started freelancing. So I was having a very good audience, which was 20 million at that point, and it was working very well. It was having a lot of sales, very good, and it was going consistently like that for months. It was 4 months, and I saw the spend, and it has spent 50K, and the potential reach was, the people that it reached was 1 million. And I said, I'm just scratching the surface, of what this ad set can do. And then I said, do you know something? What if I take this ad set that is working, duplicate it in a new campaign, exactly as it is? And most of the times when people hear that, they say, oh, you will change the creatives. No, you will change nothing, because when something is working in Facebook, you don't change it. Okay, you keep it like this. So what if you duplicate it several times? You give it the same budget, but this time multiplied it by the ad sets that you want. Or even if you want to scale it a little bit more, you use bigger ad set on your CBO campaign. And again, if we think, how does Facebook work? Facebook is saying, okay, from this audience, I'm having a sales. It's Konstantinos. Then it says, okay, let's find a similar person like Konstantinos. And then it's Nick. And then a similar person like Konstantinos and Nick. And then it's another person and another person. What if, and this was my thought, and I was right, what if Facebook just found a very good hot pocket within this 20 million, it optimized, and it was well. What if there are other hot pockets? Okay, so by doing one campaign like this, you can have a 20 million potential reach targeting exactly the same audience with different ad sets. Let them also compete with each other in a CBO campaign so that they can have this push to find different hot pockets. And when they find different hot pockets, they can start optimizing, okay, between the leads or the sales that they're getting in each of the ad set. So in that case, instead of just waiting 1 year to target 2 million, 3 million of that audience, you can target 5 or 6 million within a very small period of time, because maybe this is something that Facebook is promoting for 2 or 3 months because it's seasonal or whatever. So you're not losing time, you're actually scaling. And this is how the crazy method was created. It was actually, then I started using it with lookalikes. For example, I had a 10% lookalike that was working very well. Crazy method. 10 times this ad set instead of using it only once. Okay.
So you would have one campaign and then multiple ad sets, all exactly the same, no change, and let Facebook have one campaign and decide where it's going to grab leads from, because it might just find pockets. Because when I'm speaking to people about interests, and sometimes we'll send over the client will see the interest, help them choose. And from my point of view, I don't necessarily want the client to see that, because if they see, let's say I chose construction for something, let's say we're trying to sell some tools, we choose construction as a whole of the UK, all age groups. Let's say there's 14 million people in that. They might say, oh yeah, but there's certain things, they may not be in that, they might be in building materials. We as users of Facebook fall into so many different interest bases that all it takes is Facebook to find that pocket. Mm-hmm. In 14 million in construction, it will find a lead comes through, another lead comes through.
Exactly.
And it will then find more leads to come out of that pocket. It doesn't really matter what the audience is.
Exactly. So it's audience that is very big. It's always good if you know very well the niche, because sometimes instead of targeting fishing, you might target Marlin magazine, for example, which is all about fishing, and it doesn't include the fishing keyword. Okay, so less people are going to target it, less competition. The question though is this within the fishing niche? Of course, the Marlin magazine, it's within the fishing niche, if you put it as an interest. So what is happening there? Someone who is not having a very trained pixel, it's good to use the Marlin audience because it's going to actually compete with less people. But for someone who is having a trained pixel, it doesn't matter. It can use the crazy method. And some of these people in some hot pockets are going to be also within the Marlin interest. So the more you increase and the more you're having a better pixel, the better it is. Now, another observation that I made, which really revolutionized the way, is that I'm a very big fan of relaunches. Okay, so if something is not working, or it was working and it stopped working, duplicate it and start it the next day at 6 a.m. optimizing all over again. Okay, starting to finding new people. It doesn't mean that you have to reinvent the wheel every time that one of your campaign is failing. Just duplicate it and do it. Yeah. This is something that I haven't found on my own. I was working for an agency 3 years ago, and this guy, and I told him this campaign died, and he told me, okay, start it all over again.
Yeah. And because the algorithm, because when you think about how much budget we should, when you come to scaling and staying underneath a 20-25% rule of escalating your budget, it's because the campaign resets.
Yeah.
So by just duplicating it, it just resets and start again, and the brain will
exactly. And you might be running it for 2 months. The next 2 months, there are going to be other people that they're going to be interested in that. Okay. Yeah. So by doing that and the crazy method, you can have a crazy method working, optimizing. When it dies, relaunch it all over again.
That crazy method, may not be so crazy.
It is crazy. When you will start talking about it with your clients, you will understand that in order for you to use it with one of your clients' accounts, you need to have the cooperation of your client. It cannot happen in any other way. Yeah. And by the way, you mentioned something about the interest. All I'm doing about the audience research is I give it and I say, I want you to be open. Be open. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do our ads are going to be in the English language. We're going to use English. Don't be like that. Be open to an open thing, because Facebook is working with big numbers. It's all about statistics. Okay, so I try to put them, because it's not only about the client, but it's how you talk to them and how you guide them in the direction that you actually want. Yeah. So if you tell them, look, we want to target fishing, okay, but I think that we need to circle the niche. So we're going to have commercial licenses for boats. We're going to have equipment with reels, fishing rods, even boots. We're going to have maybe some lakes that we're going to target with pinpoint areas and see, because people are fishing there. They have to be open in different ways of actually addressing to the niche, because either you have a very strong pixel, which it doesn't matter. You just use crazy method and fishing in all of your ad sets. It's okay. Yeah. If you have a very good pixel, and we have seen all what these pixels can do, or even broad targeting, not even fishing. Okay, just because with the crazy method, I'm also using broad targeting. I'm having a brand right now, which is all about Christianity, and I'm using broad targeting in the United States. I haven't seen not a single comment from someone who is from Islam and saying something good, for instance. Okay, The second thing, I'm having another brand which is all about motorcycles and Chevrolet trucks and stuff. Most of them, I guess, they are Trump voters. If we want to make a profile, you know, they are Trump voters, I guess. And there are people that they like Harley Davidson, old Chevy trucks. Most of them are beard. They like rock music, and maybe they have been to Woodstock. Okay, so all of this avatar, I can tell you that I can target it with broad targeting without having zero issues. Okay.
Yeah.
But this account is spending $500,000 per month. How else am I supposed to spend 500K per month if I'm not able to target with broad? So I don't think that it really matters after some point if your pixel is well trained. You can go and you can do this broad. Most of the times that super technical discussions that people have in YouTube channels is all about new channels, because you're targeting really new accounts, because your targeting really matters when you have a new account. If your pixel is working, even if you go outside of a surgery clinic and you take a guy that just had a brain surgery, okay, and you make him to do one ad in a working pixel, if he even boosts a post, it's going to have some decent results. We need to understand that as marketeers, we're influencing 20 or 30% of the outcome, okay, and everything else is rigged by the algorithm. Okay, Facebook knows very well how it's going to separate who is going to get the sales, who is going to get the traffic. This is why we also don't like Facebook proposing us to run traffic ads and then retarget them, which is an awful technique, by the way, and nobody should use. And one last thing that most of the people now that they're watching this are thinking is this overlap. Okay, a very stupid argument which I don't like, because they say, hey, but you're going to have overlap if you use a crazy method and stuff. Why do you care more about overlap and not about return on ad spend? Okay, and then they say the stupid argument that we don't want to tire people with our advertisements thinking and stuff. And I'm thinking, but that's the whole point of advertisement. You want to remind to people that you are there and stuff. Why aren't you bored from Coca-Cola when you see it all over around you, and you are going to think that someone is going to care about you spamming him with your ads or whatever if you are spamming him, because you are not. Okay, I can show crazy method campaigns that the frequency is 2, for example, but there are some people that they even discuss that 2.5 is a lot, which is not.
Absolutely. So from a creating an audience point of view, so if you're going to do a top of funnel, and then you want to do some retargeting, what method do you like doing to create some nice warm audiences to retarget?
So first of all, when we're looking in one account, we're not going like any mad scientist and start running the crazy method. Okay, we need to see what is working. So I would do a mix of things. A top of funnel, which is going to be a CBO. First of all, I will try to familiarize myself with the numbers of the account. Okay, it's very important. It's completely different of selling a t-shirt for $20 and completely different of selling an item of $200. Okay, the numbers are going to be different, and you need to familiarize yourself with them for many reasons. For how many assets you are going to have in your CBO, what kind of expectations you are having. And this is also another important thing, Nick. Just because a lot of you think of advertising to Facebook, it doesn't mean that Facebook is the platform for you. And at the end of the day, nobody invited you to come to advertise to Facebook. So it's up to you to adapt. I'm having this argument a lot of times with people that they don't understand that average order value after what happened with iOS is very important. Because for Facebook, if I'm bringing you a sale for $30 cost per purchase, and someone is buying something in your store for $15, it's your fault. It's not my fault. You need to fix your numbers, and you need to have bigger numbers and average order value if you want to advertise on Facebook. If you don't, it's fine. Don't advertise. But don't expect from an advertiser to give you a consistent $5 cost per purchase just because you want to sell something for 15 and you want to have ROAS 3. Okay, it's not going to happen. So in that case scenario, we need to understand that our expectations from Facebook they have to be managed by us, okay? And we need to understand, and we need to think every time that I do something, I'm saying, am I asking too much? Because if you're asking too much, Facebook is not going to give it to you. I have a very funny video on my YouTube channel that I have a letter from Zuckerberg, and it says, come, please advertise to our channel, please. We will give you whatever CPMs you want because we want you to come really bad to advertise. It's not going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So when we talk about top of funnel and campaigns, after understanding the numbers and running CBOs, which I think that it's a must when it comes to top of funnel campaigns, you need to do a very good audience research in order to find the different interests that you can use. I used to be a big fan of actually putting a lot of interests together. Now I like to use them separate, one by one.
Yeah.
Facebook has also done a very good job at removing a lot of those in the past month.
I found one, some ads, I got warning signs on an ad that was working so well.
Several. Do you know a very good fix about that? When you want to use one interest and you cannot use it anymore,
yeah,
you can duplicate an older campaign and you can use it. Up to the 17th of March.
Yeah.
So you can use it up to the point. And I can tell you that because these interests have less competition now, the results are very good. So if you go in any other campaign, go and change just the creative so that you will be able to use it. It's a very good workaround up to the 17th. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when we are talking about interests, you need to have different interests in a CBO campaign. Don't forget that if you put very small interest and big interest in a CBO campaign, Facebook is going to spend most of the money in the bigger interests.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a very common thing. The same is going to happen within the ad set. If you put small interests with small, you're fine and you're making a bigger one.
Yeah.
But if you want to group them, don't group a very big one and some small ones there, because Facebook is going to spend only on the big one.
Yeah.
This is something that if someone doesn't believe us now, he can go and he can do a CBO campaign, do one broad targeting, and interests below in the other assets that they're going to have 20 million or something, and he will see that Facebook is going to spend most of the money on broad targeting.
Yeah.
And this is also something, just to clarify, we're not just meditating and having ideas of how Facebook is working. It's a game of observation, okay? The same way that I'm telling you about lookalikes that they have been working like this, it's because I have tested it in several accounts, okay? So first thing is that. Second thing, we need to define if the lookalikes are working. Okay, very important. Lookalikes is like having a second campaign. So when you have lookalikes with 5%, 10%, see if they're working. This is also another thing that you need to check. Thing number 3, and I'm saying by the I'm doing them by this line, okay? So if I see that those two are working, because this is how I work with Facebook personally, I build the bases, okay? So first step, second step, third step. So this is how I scale. So if I see that everything like this is working, then I'm going and I'm saying, hey, let's see the interests. So if I see any interest that is working very well, then I'm taking this interest and I'm doing it with crazy method. Okay. Yeah. So then I see the lookalikes. If 10% of something is working very well, I do it with crazy method. And then I might do crazy method with broad targeting, but not exactly broad targeting. Most probably I will break down the results. The breakdown of results, by the way, it's gone. So we cannot see where the sales have come from. But if a campaign is profitable, you can see by the spend on the different ages and gender where Facebook is spending more money. So if the campaign is profitable, that means that in these spends that they have spent more, it means that in these spends, it's your ideal audience. So I might run a broad targeting with these demographics, the demographics that they have seen that they have spent more and they had good results, which is not a total open targeting, but it's still an open targeting. I will see how that will go. And then I will start playing with bigger CBOs. So if all that is with $500 CBOs, I will start doing $2,000 CBOs
Yeah.
with that, and then $5,000 and so on.
So what we for that top of funnel, what will you optimize for? Will you always optimize for
For
leads or
purchases.
purchases? Yeah. So at every stage, would you not build? What about showing videos to people and then retargeting?
I disagree with this kind of stuff. This kind of I don't know if you're doing it, Nick, but I'm going to say that this is a bullshit strategy, which is being used by drop shippers. So I have a golden rule. Whatever drop shippers do, I do the opposite because they are not actual businesses. Okay.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of kiddos that they're watching. I'm not going to mention his name. So, but we all understand who he is. On that point, I need to tell you that Facebook is extremely capable of understanding what you're going to do in the next 5 seconds in their platform.
Yeah.
Okay, I will put it like this. Why? Because of statistics. Okay, I don't believe that anyone over here disagrees with the fact that an AI can beat me in logic. Okay, nobody can.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what is happening when you are running ads for video views, for traffic and stuff. Facebook has seen some pattern. I'm going to give you 2 simple examples. Okay, there are people that because they are in work, they're watching videos. Okay, and they're leaving their mobile phone on the desk for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Okay, some people might say, hey, how many can be? I can reassure you that in big numbers in the whole world, this can be a lot. Okay, so this is a pattern. Facebook sees that this person is watching videos endlessly. Who tells you that it's not easy for them to put just one of your advertisements as a video there? Okay, so nobody might see it. Second thing, traffic ads. And this is proven actually by some researchers. There are the people that we call clumsy clickers.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Facebook is showing more traffic ads to the clumsy clickers because it's cheaper traffic.
Yeah.
These are 2 stupid examples, true examples, by the way, but stupid examples so that people can understand that Facebook can pick specific people to do specific jobs in order for it to have cheap traffic, cheap video views and stuff. That doesn't mean that the people that you're going to retarget later because the targeting ads are considered very good, that are going to help you have sales. Because of this reason, because the quality of the people that you will get on the video views and the quality of the people that you will get on the traffic, it's not going to be good for you to retarget it.
Absolutely agree. So my theory is that, and you used to go back to when we would test. So let's say you got an e-commerce website, you might go, okay, we're going to start with add to carts, and then we'll go up to initiate checkout before we go to purchase. But my theory was, yeah, but purchases are the ones we want. So why don't we test with purchases, optimizing for purchase, and then we know that the traffic coming in that we're testing is the right traffic coming in.
This idea started from a different perspective. So these people thought, which is a correct way of thinking, but it's wrong if you think of it for Facebook. So people said, I have 4% conversion rate on my site. How many add to carts am I having with that? 400. Okay. Yeah. If I increase the number of add to carts and my conversion rate stays the same, I'm going to get more sales. Makes sense, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is what they thought. They said we're going to optimize for add to cart, and our site is going to be strong enough to convert these people that are going from add to cart. But they didn't understand the clumsy clickers and all of that. You know,
it's the same shoppers, isn't it? And the amount of people I do it, I add to cart on lots of sites before I decide what I'm going to buy.
Yes, but I don't do this kind of thing because I don't think that I'm in the general rule. Okay, so I'm not criticizing what am I doing. I'm just criticizing based on the fact, for example, sometimes just for my joy, I put my father, who is an internet uneducated person, okay, to go in some sites and see his behavior. You will be amazed by the things that I'm discovering. You will be amazed. There are so many things and so many people that they are behaving with different ways. So I don't think that I also add to cart so that I can see how the graphic is going to look on the add to cart on the start. If the pixel is firing, I'm
Yeah.
watching this kind of stuff. Okay. But we are not the general rule.
No,
Okay.
no.
We are talking about people that they do this and they are lazy, all of them, all of the customers. You have to do it very easy for them. And most of the cases, there are also people that they haven't thought if they want to buy something 3 seconds ago. So this is the magic of Facebook, okay? That it's convincing people within 3 seconds to buy something that they didn't know that they wanted. So in that case, we need to be very strict with Facebook because after so many years, and Facebook is the oldest platform on that, gathering all that data.
Yeah.
This is why it has so many problems with the Congress and the whistleblowers and stuff, because there's no way that there's not going to be corruption having that power and that
Yeah.
data from all of
Yeah.
these people
Yeah.
that they willingly handled you, by the way. Okay. Because when you some things that people don't understand is that when you post a picture with your dog, Facebook understands that you like dogs. You know, it's that complicated. And when you do it several times, okay, when you go in a birthday and they see a birthday cake, even if they understand that on that date some of your friends have birthday,
Yeah.
so they can show you presents on that period on the interest. It is that crazy. And if we start thinking about it, most people are going to be disgusted with Facebook. But I see it from a fascinated way because of the algorithm and stuff. So understanding how the algorithm works, it means that having all that data, you have to be very strict with what you're asking from Facebook.
Brilliant. So last question, because we're flying through this hour. It's brilliant though.
Really?
I love
Okay.
it. The thing that, so this is the one thing that we're getting asked a lot about our clients, and obviously we're trying to figure out internally, and it's all a bit all over the place. E-com and lead generation, both sides. Facebook says in the last 7 days or yesterday, you had 17 purchases on your e-commerce site. We're then linking up through UTMs and we're looking on Google Analytics and Shopify, for instance, and the client's saying, no, of those 17, I didn't have 17, I only had 5 purchases. So we're looking at the estimate, Facebook estimating the purchases. How are you getting around that? How are you navigating that?
So 2 things. First of all, and it might sound crazy, I'm not against of Facebook stealing a little bit, because at the end of the day, I can use this data for optimization based on the previous discussion that we had. As long as I'm honest with my client, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. Second, one thing that most people don't calculate on that equation is this. After what happened with iOS, the reporting is not as fast as it used to be. We have up to 72 hours delayed reporting. So if you talk to your client and you say, in the past 5 days on the ads manager, I'm seeing X amount of sales, he's not going to give you a number which is close to that because you don't know which sale has been reported or which hasn't and stuff. Now, if one of your clients is using any of the programs of Hyros, Wikit reports or others, I can tell you that a lot of times we have seen triple reportings or double reportings and we don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, then the technical team of each of these companies is coming and it's actually fixing those issues. I don't know what is causing them. Sometimes it can be a button, sometimes it can be something else.
Yeah.
The way that you can work around this is with the way that I explained to you at the start of my answer. You need to be okay with that. You need to be okay with Facebook stealing a little bit of data, as long as you understand that this data is going to be used for optimization for finding more sales. So sometimes I'm having arguments with some of my clients that they say, for example, they do an email marketing campaign and Facebook steals all of it, okay? And it reports 10 ROAS the next day. And I'm saying, it's fine. It's fine. Let it steal it. It's fine. Let it take it, okay? But this is having a different relationship with your client, okay? You know, with saying that, hey, I want us to evaluate the situation in a better picture, okay? Not just by watching the ads manager and saying, Konstantinos, you're good, or Konstantinos, you're bad. Okay, so by having this kind of comparison, you can say it's okay. Let Facebook to take it because all of this data that came, it's going to go back to the platform and it's going to find similar people to that. So you have to be okay with Facebook stealing. Another example, if you are running Pinterest ads, Google ads, and TikTok ads, all of the platforms are stealing from each other.
Yeah.
Is this a problem? It is not. I
So
don't understand this fixation of people saying that, but I want to know how much I make from Google, how much I make.
Yeah.
You are in the business.
So you saying that, let's say, we're talking about this particular client. So let's say they had, in the last 7 days, they had 17 purchases. Yeah. Now we've got the problem with obviously the 7-day attribution window. So are you saying that the way you see it is that over the next 30 days, they will have those 17 orders in their shop, but we can't attribute to where those 17 orders came from exactly?
Yes. So we have three keys over here. First of all, Facebook might do the modeled reporting, as they call it, on the first days.
Yeah.
And they say, we expect from this to get this amount of sales. I have never seen it in 30 days exceeding the reality. Never. Okay. So thing number two, and it's good for optimizing, because back in the days, why they have done that, by the way, because back in the day, in the first 24 hours, I was touching my ads. I was able to go and do changes, kill that, and be very strict. Now I'm waiting for 48 hours minimum. I'm not touching them. So when you do that, you need to have some initial data. And we have also known from the past that the first 24 hours were always the best. Why? Because Facebook was giving us the best possible traffic and sales so that it can continue optimizing and we can continue spending with our ad set. So this is what they're trying to do with modeled reporting at the start. Second thing, 72 hours delayed reporting. You cannot evaluate if the sales came or not, if they didn't come. Third thing, aggregated events. We have the aggregated events from people that they have opted out. This is also something that's coming. Fourth thing, we have API and pixel reporting, both of those reporting. We have the duplication events. Now, if you're seeing consistently double sales, you have to check, maybe it's not a duplicating, maybe you are having double reporting, but these are technical things that it might mean that you're having problem with your reporting. But if your difference is 10 or 20 sales, let it be. Let it be. Out of the 100, 200, 300, 400, if you have 10 sales that they are not that they are just not showing, or you're over reporting and stuff, let it be, because at the end of the day, all of these factors that I told you, it can bring 5 or it can bring 10 more or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a really interesting theory. So another one of our clients, and they're a big car rental company. We would all know the name, just can't say it. The Google ads is going, the display ads is going. They're all the avenues that we're doing for them is there. We're unable to attribute completely accurately, but since it started at all, the organic went straight up. So what they can't say is Facebook, Google, whatever is on the up. Now we've said to them, you turn all of the stuff off and that will just go down. It's an accumulation of the whole lot, which is, it's really interesting you said that.
Did
so
they do it?
They haven't turned us off. No, they've put the budgets up.
So this is the last argument that I use also with a client of mine. So if a client comes and tells, I don't see the results there, I tell him, okay, for 1 month, let's close everything. Keep doing what you're doing if you think that the sales are coming from elsewhere, because now we reach the point that we think that Facebook is doing nothing. It's not like that,
because they can't track it.
So close the ads for 1 month. Do you have I don't want to curse again. I'm cursing a lot. I need to stop it. Do you have the guts to do it?
We're in the world of cursing now.
Okay, so do you have the balls to do it? If you have the balls to turn your ads for 1 month, okay, and then come back to tell me if you had the same results as you had, because you can't believe that you had X amount of organic traffic. We are running Facebook ads, and suddenly your organic traffic has become 100% better just overnight. It's coming from somewhere. So if someone doesn't believe, I'm telling them, close your ads for 20 days, for a month. Let's see what is going to happen. None of them has closed them because they know that it's coming from there. Okay. So for me, the most important thing is to have these kind of discussions with your clients, and they can understand that Facebook is going to steal a little bit. Facebook is going to over-report or down-report a little bit. We need to see the general picture.
It's interesting because we had a client today that we just finalizing their report, and theirs is nearly 100% the same. So the what Facebook is saying to what they've actually generated, we're in control of the whole funnel. So we take control of the actual landing page and the CRM. It's pretty much, I think in the last 7 days, it was out by 1 lead. So on those occasions,
are the leads happening within the Facebook platform?
Yes.
But this is a different case.
No, sorry, not a web form. It's leaving the platform, going to a landing page. So what we're doing on our clients.
So they are losing some data over there.
Hardly any, though. It's been very, very accurate.
Cool.
It's quite rare, but we've also got web forms. Facebook forms working.
Because the Facebook forms, in theory, they should report 100%.
And they are. And we're actually getting a lot of success from before. I would have argued, I would have sat in front of a client and gone, right, well, which one do we use? If someone's going to a landing page of your own, they're going to have more intent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot.
Why would you argue about that? I would like to share your opinion.
As in, why would I say that they're going to have be high quality?
So I'm thinking of this because this is also a true fact. When someone goes to a landing page, the quality is better, period. From the leads that you are going to get within Facebook forms.
Yeah.
The big question here is this. The lead generation forms are within Facebook are cheaper.
Yeah.
Always. You have seen that, right?
Cheaper. Yes.
Yeah, the cost per lead is cheaper within Facebook lead form. So the big question here is this. Can I get very cheap leads that they are going to compensate for the bad ones within Facebook? Or should I go for the other? Because in case number 1, I might be winning more like this instead of case number 2, sending people to the landing page. In my opinion, you should do both, okay? And you should have a mix. But I think that there are several cases that I was running ads only with forms within Facebook, and the results were better because I was able, with crazy method and stuff within that, which is working very well also with lead generation forms, to do it like this. Okay, so for me the question is not, for me the question is the cost per lead, by the way. The cost per lead is going to define the success, not the amount of leads or the quality of the leads. The cost per lead is going to show if you can compensate for the bad leads.
Now, do you think that Facebook is going to start pushing people towards on Facebook leads because of the tracking problems we're having outside of Facebook?
I'm going to tell you a story which is going to shock you. Okay, so for sure they are going to do it, but I'm going to refer a little bit to the Facebook shops.
Yeah.
Okay. You know them, we all know them and stuff. In one of my clients, they gave us $100,000 credit to spend in 2 months from October to December, start of December. The ROAS was awful, 0.56, but who cares? They gave us $100,000 to spend it, and they didn't even let me do several ads. I just did one ad set with a catalog, DPA, cold traffic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just for the, and by the way, by analyzing the results, 1/3 of the sales only were happening within the store. The other 66% was happening within the site, not on the Facebook store.
On their actual website.
Yeah, on their actual website, but it was also measuring those. So the result was 0.6, and I think that it would have been worse if we didn't have Christmas and Black Friday in that period. I think it would have been worse. So Facebook came back to us 10 days ago, and they gave us a credit of 1 million this time. So they're going, they gave us a credit of 1 million. So my guess is this, that they are trying to do this in order to control the people and in order to have everything happening within the platform.
Yeah.
And guess what else happened? Apple announced that they have their own ads now. So all of this was a hypocrisy from their end in order to be able to do the biggest dream of Steve Jobs, controlling everything within the app that someone is using. You cannot do anything if I don't allow you to do it. Okay. So Apple, as having this philosophy, now they're going to have their own ads. We are going to see what is going to happen with those. And Facebook is also trying to say, hey, we want to have the data within the Facebook platform, because if it is within the Facebook platform, we're not talking about iOS, it's Facebook, it's our platform.
Yeah.
So they're pushing this agenda a lot. And if they give to a company like the one that I'm doing the ads for, 1 million, I'm guessing that they're, by the way, they're not giving it.
Credit.
They
It's not
don't.
like here's money. Yeah.
Anyway, this
It's just fake money in the platform to them.
exactly, but this is something that really helps you understand that we're talking about we're talking about fake money, you know, over here. But anyway, so the thing is that by doing that, I'm understanding that they try to do it, and the answer from the team was this: for us, we don't care about the results and stuff. All we care about is data. How much data is the algorithm going to take to analyze and start fixing with the AI system and trying to learn more about how to push people to shop? Because as we said earlier, which is also proving the thing, the clumsy clickers and stuff, it's going to try to understand who are the people that they're going to be, that's going to be easier for them to buy within the shop. Okay, on Facebook, so that it can show it to these people when you're doing shop ads, for instance. Okay, so that's a situation, and I think that this thing, along with the metaverse that Facebook is actually going to do something with, I think that these are the two things that are going to save the platform in the long term.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've let you. It's been really, really interesting talking to you. Listening, I've hardly spoken, which is not like me. I speak
really.
But it's really interesting that all the things you're saying, I'm sort of saying as well, because I've had my team over today with the e-com as well. You know, now you can optimize to send traffic to the website or the website and the shop. You know, the online. And I think it'll be a matter of time with this experiment that you've just described that it'll become then
for sure
website or the shop. And you can either keep them in the platform.
I'm going to keep uploading videos for that. I have prepared the video for the 100K, which I'm going to upload. And when the test is going to finish in 2 months for the 1 million, I'm going to upload and also say about the results of that. Because at the end of the day, as I told you about Facebook, that's the whole point, to show actual accounts, to show that. And this is what I'm trying to do with the YouTube channel, because we are tired of all of this theory, you know. And if we want to hear theory, we can have the representatives that are calling us every day to go on a call with, and they can talk to us about theory, which is not working, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. No, it's excellent. I've learned a lot. I'm going to be testing some of these theories out that you've
perfect.
But so obviously I started this podcast by saying that I know you from YouTube. Okay. Where do my listeners need to go? Because listeners, he's got some brilliant videos which are going to really help you do some great stuff, and it's kind of advanced. If you have an understanding over Facebook, which if you're listening to this, I hope you have, and I know that the people that come onto my consultancy know what they're talking about. So go and check his stuff out. So over to you. How do we get people to your channel?
So my YouTube channel is my name, and I think that people can see it in the title, because even if I
put it on the title.
Okay, so you can put the title, you can put a link also on the description. You can sub, and I'm also having a YouTube group. But I think, in my opinion, I'm not going to say anything else about what I have. I think that people can go check my content. If they agree with my philosophy, the way that I'm talking and stuff, the same way that you have seen my videos, they will find their information if they want eventually. Okay, so I will leave it like this. Keep in mind that my YouTube channel is never going to be monetized. It's all about free information, you know, and being able to share what I have learned with that. And it's just a fun thing for me to do.
Brilliant. Well, I'd love to have you back on. I hope you enjoyed it.
Sure.
Love to chat to you again.
It was perfect.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for all your knowledge. It's been awesome. And I'm hoping for some feedback from the listeners as to how it worked.
Sure. I would like to see the comments, and I would like to see them coming to my channel to also commenting if they have questions about stuff.
Brilliant. Well, go over, everyone, and go and say hi, and I hope you learn from it like I do. Brilliant. Well, listen, have a nice evening. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Nick.
And we'll see you again.
Thank you, Nick. Have a nice day.
And you. Bye-bye.